Good morning. Happy Friday. More of the same. More of the same. News moving, prices around in a meaningless way. Meaning still within this trading range. And, yesterday couldn't get to the bottom of it. So, looking at things here, kind of with a magnifying glass, so to speak, looking for the clues, which sometimes is required. But anyway, you still got to get out of the range at some point if that's going to happen. And when I say that, this is actually, in your face rejection of the breakdown that happened there on December 22nd. And then the second insight as to possible move to the upside was December 28th with this wide red bar closing almost at the low, and then it gaps up. And then this bar was okay. It takes out the low of that green bar, becomes a bottoming tail bar. That's got to go up. And it did, gapped up toward the top of the range, and it got rejected. Obviously, that inside day yesterday looked like maybe could it go down to the bottom of the range, and it didn't. So to some level, to some degree, to look at this from a more bullish point of view is that buyers stepped up before prices got to the bottom of the range, but couldn't lift up. And now, on this news report, like every news report gets prices moving from the opposite end of the range. And so now prices are gapping up, not quite to the top of the range, but, we've seen this before. Sizable gaps, and we'll see how far it goes. And you can see where my cursor is there, where prices are right now. 384 on SPY. Top of the range is further up, and the 20 MA is lurking up there, and the 50 MA. And we'll see. One thing that changed I want to explain is this sentiment, which is way down here. And this didn't pop up because of all of a sudden yesterday down here, there was all this bullish sentiment. That wasn't what happened. Remember, this is a moving average. And what it did was it dropped off the data from this day. And so then it was averaging in, this data here. So the line popped up. So you need to recognize that about a moving average, the calculation and what it's looking at, and not just look at this as like, oh, all of a sudden that's bullish. No, it's not bullish. It's just that, they were just kind of hanging here neutral with things. You see over here on the down day, they bet it was going to crash, and it didn't happen. And so the things subside, just to a normal or neutral level. Right. So now this is moving up, and we'll just see what happens going into next week. And of course, where things might end up today, just because things are up here doesn't mean they're going to stay up. So let me just see where this is at on the hourly chart. So theoretically, it could get to those pivots up there. We've got that red area, which let me just zero that down there a little bit. Somewhere that's where the sellers will show up. And then from there, we're going to see what can you do. So this kind of price action up there, this was at the end of the day, and then it gaps down, right? You can see that. But say it runs up there into 10 o'clock, and it can stay up there, say at 10:30, 11, then we're going to start thinking, hey, maybe this thing can break out because it's going sideways at this resistance, or call it supply area there. And when you hear us talk about absorbing supply or bullish price action, what it's referring to is there's resistance there, and buyers are taking in what sellers want to dish out. How to say it as aggressively, because if it was very aggressive, it would just push through it like it's not there. Right? But assuming it stops there and goes sideways, we'd say, okay, it's just a way of explaining the price action, absorbing supply. It's going sideways at resistance. It's a stalemate. Ultimately, to be bullish, it's got to break out, right? Because it could go sideways at resistance and buyers will give it up, and it could go down because it didn't go up, right? Everybody starts to think, hey, you know what, this thing should go up. It should go up. It's not going up. I better hit the bid. And then sometimes prices just fall back down again. So the bottom line is, it's getting closer to the top of the trading range where sellers are going to show up. And that's the assumption that we have to make, because that's what's happening until something changes. So it will be interesting by the end of the week, bottoming tail bar, inside bottoming tail bar. What does this look like? Is this a bottoming tail bar that can close above the open? And if it does, we have to think it's going to go up next week. So until we have something definitive, it's just in a trading range. Same stuff that we've been seeing now for, almost 3 weeks, give or take. All right. Give me a second here. Hopefully I didn't miss whatever the quotes are on the options here. SPX. So I'm always I'll look at both sides, but when I see something go up, the calls get juiced. I figured that's where to go look first and see if there's juice above the top of the range. Let me look at SPX. First, let me look at the futures. No, it's just nothingness, right? It's just whatever. Just a green bar inside of a red bar. Big deal. All right. All right. So if we definitely want to be above the range if possible. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because they're juicing it up here. 39.15, 39.20. 39.20 is a no-brainer. I think so, right? Could I be wrong? Yeah, of course. But I just the way things have been, this report to me, I don't put much meaning in it, to tell you the truth, because the market just reacts back and forth, back and forth. And so 39.20 is 75 by 85. Yeah. And I think that's a good bet. 39.20. And we saw the futures were starting to stall there. So we'll see where it is at 9:30. But the 50 it's above the 50 MA. So not only is it going to get through the top of the range, it's got to get through 3,900. It's got to get through the 50 MA. It would take a Herculean, move. And for what reason might we have that? All right. Not that I haven't been dumbfounded in a sense of saying, how the hell did that happen? The market do something, but we can't base trading decisions based on some craziness. The downside, 37.50, which is probably a good number. I think, yeah, I think Iron Condor Day for SPX traders, 39.20. Bottom of below the range, above the range. I like that. So there you go. All right. What else is going on here? Alex asked me if I looked at interest rates this morning. And as you can see, the 13-week broke out. And my response was, I think the markets want to get the worst over, meaning whatever the Fed is jawboning, whatever they're saying they're going to do, as I said in the green room, way back here, if I can scroll that back, right? Back here, I was like, when this thing starts moving up, it's going to be a problem for the markets. And this is pushing higher out of this base. And it's like, Fed, get it over with, right? Bring on the pain. And because the more they do that, right, everybody expects 50 basis points. If they did 75, which is not what I'm saying they will, but if they did that, the market probably cracks through the bottom of that base and we're getting much closer to the bottom. We'll see what happens. So just taking note that this is moving up. Now this is doing nothing, right? Moving down, right? And doing nothing, which, okay. We take a look at this and it's like steepening, right? You know, yield curves are widening and recession. So bring on the bad news, you know, let them do whatever they're going to do. And, you know, the quicker that happens, the quicker we're going to get to a market that is going to move in a bullish direction. And that isn't happening just yet. Let's see if anything's getting out of the range. No, not at all. Still at the bottom of the range here. And, you know, just normal to think that it could go up, but it isn't happening yet. And the longer it spends time down here, the same way we look at price action at resistance that goes sideways, that's saying, hey, that's bullish price action as long as it does break out. Well, going sideways at support, you can say that is buyers are stepping up and maybe you can get a counter trend rally. But at some point, and if it can't take out a prior buyer's high, at some point, buyers are going to give it up and it's going to break down. So we're still in no man's land waiting for something to happen here. Nothing, zero. Just a longer base on top of the bar. And just keeping things in perspective. That's our job, keep things in perspective and not get enamored by a 5-minute chart that, you know, moved rapidly to resistance. And let's see what it does now that it's there. Nothingness, right? Sometimes we refer to this as a Christmas tree pattern, right? Red, green, red, green, like, you know, blinking lights back and forth, running in place, doing nothing. And transports, take a peek down 200 yesterday, running in place, doing nothing. Set an alert down here, set an alert up there. Let's see, volatility index, you telling us anything? Well, not really. Going to get above this consolidation, which the market would be going down. Or is it, you know, just breaking this little lows here? Set an alert, forget about it, see what it's doing. Bitcoin doing absolutely nothing. Could the ranges get any tighter? Right? Winding the spring. Which way is it going to break? You know, pivot high, pivot low. You know, getting tighter and tighter. Rejection up here. Head and shoulders top. Maybe. Set an alert. Right down there. Set an alert down here. All right. Mr. Dollar, what are you doing? It was up. Coming back down in the middle of yesterday's range. All right. Could it be any more running in place at light speed? Like a tennis match. All right. Professional tennis match, smashing it back and forth. Alex saying some people are going to be on TV that might entertain us today. I don't know who these people are, but if Alex is saying it, I guess they're worth listening to for some reason. Fed people. Okay. How much I pay attention, Alex? Gold's still churning its way up toward that resistance. You know, churners, we call these self-correcting uptrends. They keep you second guessing. You know, wide range bar down and it comes back up, wide range bar down and it comes back up. You know, that's like, I don't know, I could call that an Alka-Seltzer pattern. All right. Oh, what a nice profit. I'm going to break out. Profit's gone. What do I do? Anyway, it is what it is, right? And that's about it. Euro kind of grinding lower. And the markets don't care so much about the dollar as it did before. So there's a bit of a disconnect happening there, but nothing's moving all that meaningful to the way it was last year. So we'll see how it unfolds. And have a great weekend. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Happy Zero DTE Day. So with this nice bounce, I'll be looking for put spreads on a controlled pullback. You know the drill, 15-minute chart here. Don't want it to retrace beyond this minor support, 381.50 area. And then I'll be looking for put spreads all over the place. I posted Costco had some numbers. Next week, we're going to be talking about bottoming patterns on MT Live. And this is one of them. There was absolutely nothing yet. This thing looked lower, but now we have a shock event that's making this a bottoming pattern. So that looks fantastic for a put spread. Lulu's another one here. You know, kind of an inverse head and shoulder here, retest, red bar ignored, going sideways here after breaking out, and now it's gapping over it. So that's just another no-brainer put spread candidate. That's what we do. So we've been doing really well the last 2 weeks, picking out the best of the best, even though the market's been in a friggin' coma. You know, we've just been finding good patterns. I mean, look at Boeing here is totally on its own page. Doesn't care what the market's doing. This was breaking out into the close as the market was selling off. Well, what else? I got a couple 1, 2, 3s. I got alarms all over the place. Tesla here in the news again. I said yesterday into the close over today's Friday, over Wednesday's high, we were going to do a zero DTE put spread. And now it's getting whacked again on news that they're lowering costs again, prices in China. And it's, you know, the thing's going to bounce eventually. It's just a matter of when and how and what time frame. But a 30-minute high, I'm going to keep an eye on that for a put spread. Microsoft, I was hoping it just keeps selling off. I actually was hoping that we were going to get a gap breakdown and then short 10-minute low or whatever, and then start our shorting party. But you know, it's the ping pong tennis that Greg was talking about. But Tesla and Microsoft, I'm watching for zero DTE put spreads. Let's see what I have over here. Housing, you know, broke out, pulling in. So I'm watching that for stabilization. We've been watching DHI for a while. Look at not Toll. Toll is on my list. Look at that one, looks great. Little gap reversal, correction bar, now gapping up. MGAM gapping up, but that was a very steep buy setup, but it made the turn. So yesterday was actually the day to get into that thing. We traded RH last week, and we stopped out break even, unfortunately. And I missed this yesterday, but look at that monster 180 reversal. So I have this on my list for put spread. And so with Tesla down, these EV stocks are getting whacked. Look at LI. Look at poor Riven here. You know, we were shorting it on this day right here on December 9th. Little sell setup, range expansion after a breakdown. That was a beautiful short entry. Too bad we didn't hold it long enough. XPIV, you know, the whole sector is Tesla's dragging it down. Look, that was a bullish daily lead right there. Now it's whacked. Gap in here to the 20 MA under a green bar. Looks horrible. NCLH, a little Climo. We sold puts on that yesterday. This was an earnings stock I did yesterday. Some people in the green room did it with me, I think. It was only 20 cents, but we sold the $12.50 puts. Look at that. 12.5 is under this base. You know, 10 lot, $200. I'll take it. So that's I'm just bidding a penny to get out, just to be done with it. DCT was earnings. I was looking at this one as a potential condor yesterday, but it was a little tight for me. But notice that it's fairly flat open, so that would have worked beautifully. GVX had earnings, gap and down. It's an ugly gap. Crust, somebody told me is a sushi company. I didn't know there was a sushi company that was public. That's getting whacked pretty good. Tesla and costs we know about. Yeah, it's a correction bar. Yeah, it's strong. XYL under yesterday's low is a short idea. WAC closing breakdown under yesterday's low is a short. A couple of these railroads had closing breakdowns. Look at UNP. So I actually posted this as a call spread. Let me give it to you. Nice. Yeah, so I didn't post these in the room because they were linked. We have Lulu. I have cost here. Let me give you. These are 3 new credit spreads. And UNP. UNP yesterday's low call spread. Sherwin-Williams, I missed this yesterday. Look at that wide range breakdown. Let's keep an eye on this for a call spread and also short on a bounce. Look at this. Nasty. That was a sell setup. That looks horrible. Yesterday's low, day trade, short. EQR. Some of these REITs got whacked. That's ugly. Caesar's Palace is a sell setup, 180 reversal, yesterday's low. Charlie Papa, another railroad. It's on horizontal support, but still, that could be a call spread. Cyrex, a little 1, 2, 3 from a bottoming pattern again. See, I love bottoming patterns that, you know, where they're 20 and 50 flat now, and then you get some type of additional fake out or gap or something. So that's actually a nice little bottoming pattern. I'm going to set an alarm at 19. All right, we're getting our retracement here now in the broader markets. And this is where, from the bullish standpoint, they really should hold. So if this little 5-minute reversal fails, then yeah, it's probably even better. You can put on the condor right at the open. So Bally here, little 1, 2, 3. I got an alarm at 1960. Lazy Boy 1, 2, 3. This one made the turn. See how it made the turn in the middle of no man's land? buy setup on the weekly. That's a long watch. Meow. Wide range closing breakout. There's Toll I mentioned. Cry, beautiful 1, 2, 3. Closing breakout, daily, weekly. That looks great. Mixie 1, 2, 3. It's at the prior high, so ideally I'd like it to go have one more inside day, but it's a breakout daily, weekly. Swir, gapping up to 31 and going sideways. That almost looks like a buyout, but the gap's too big for me. PRG I posted yesterday. That's a beauty 1, 2, 3 after this breakdown failure and a price void. Beautiful. I just love this setup. It's a quality, beautiful 1, 2, 3. And Greg told me the other day, he's like, man, you do so many videos on 1, 2, 3s. I'm like, yeah, I love that pattern. And that goes back to MT Live from Wednesday. You got to have your own trading plan and know the setups that you want. All right, CAT, we're long stock, just bullish consolidation. TMOS, we did a beautiful put spread yesterday. It's on my list for possible 1, 2, 3. Market excess, wide range igniting breakout, daily, weekly, monthly. I was hoping for 1, 2, 3. IPAR, I'm hoping for 1, 2, 3. NEOG was on our list yesterday. I'd like an inside bar or two. STZ got whacked on earnings yesterday. Look at that volume, wow. But it's down a lot, down from 260. I'll keep an eye on it for stabilization. Charlie Bravo is a beast. HTHT pullback after breakout. Costco we know about. These airlines, CPA is 1, 2, 3. You can add yesterday's high. DHI, another housing stock. It's gapping up here, looks good. All right, that is it for me. 9:29, perfect. I see Lulu coming in here. Lulu, I posted 5-minute high, but wow, that was a pretty big tail right there. So I'm gonna be focused on Lulu here at the open. I said like I said 315, and I like to keep as much of the juice as possible, and that's why $30 wide, because I want a big credit, but you can mix and match yourself. You pick whichever one you want for the credit and the risk. How close, out of the money, spread width. Mixie up alarm. All right, 315. 285. All right, so I have it loaded here. We'll see what the midpoint. All right, Cry, PRG. PRG gapping over the entry. Look at cost middle window here, it's ripping. All right, so PRG 5-minute high as a go. Mixie. Let's watch that on a pullback. That was 1, 2, 3 I mentioned. Gulf Lima. Hey, nice. This has been dead money for us for a while. All right, now this 5-minute buy setup is failing, like I mentioned. But this Gulf Lima, finally a gap breakout. All right, so let's keep an eye on that. Down here, we can move stop under this pivot, 119.78. Cat up alarm. SIG, SIG, up alarm, Alex. I know you were playing with that. I got filled on my short puts at a penny there, so that ether or whatever stock I did. Another earnings victory there.
CTAS, that's gonna be a short setup, maybe a 1, 2, 3 next week. Maybe you want to do a look for a call spread on that for next week. There's juice up there above 450-ish. EVGL. Maybe it's ready today. Whipped up and down, Alex. These semiconductors are weird.
SIG alarm, but still top of the range. Cat alarm looks great. Move stop break even now.
Your Lulu flipping back up.
Oh shoot, I was like, yeah, see, that's why I need your help. At the open. I'm watching.
No, I would just say with a setup like that, I wouldn't be looking at too many other things. That's a good one.
All
If
right,
you got
so
juice under yesterday's low, I would just do it.
yeah, I'm doing it right now. Yeah, so it's 381. That wide one I did, and yeah, it's 381 midpoint right now. All right, let me play it. Let me see if I can get 390. No, so 385.